So we covered this, and so it broke. You had a lot of people speculating. Hello, it's me. We had a lot of people speculating about whether or not Keean was fired. And the reason why people thought Keean was fired was because his name had been scrubbed from Rebel News. And what was it? It was like he hadn't like sent out any Rebel News reports for a while. Anyways, the rumor mill was going, and then Keean put out a tweet saying that like people are going to be surprised come or lefties are going to be shaking in their boots come Monday or something like this. And what people took from that was that well, at least I took from that he wasn't leaving Rebel News, because when he sent out that tweet, he also was recording videos of himself with the Rebel News logo, where he was heading to Montreal to go participate in whatever Rebel News was doing in Montreal. Which again, then Keean got arrested as well, which all that good fun stuff. So they all went to Montreal to do that, participate in that big anti-lockdown protest that eventually turned into a riot. And so I thought that meant that he's probably not leaving Rebel News. I was very confused about what was going on, because like, why has he been scrubbed from the internet? And so my guess is they were just like changing things around or something, that he wasn't actually leaving. So I was part right and part wrong. The thing that I'm right about is that the thing I'm wrong about is he is in fact leaving Rebel News. According to him, this is again his last video for Rebel is called Keean Bexte says farewell to Rebel News. So he's putting it out there that he's leaving Rebel News, and he's going to be starting his own project. But then he also says that he's still going to be like an independent contractor, and that whenever Rebel like wants him for a story, like he's going to go and work for them. So I'm curious to see like, what is he going to still be around? Is he not going to be around? Like I don't fully know what's going on there.
I kind of have a theory, since because I heard a little bit about this just before we went live, is if this is some kind of way for, regardless of whether or not he quit or was fired and is still going to work with them in some capacity as like a contractor or whatever. I wonder if it's a kind of legal dodge if the events of January 6th came around, came down on Rebel like they did for Charlottesville, where they can be like, oh no, I mean, like we fired him. He's only like we only do the odd thing with this guy. He's his own thing, so you have to go after him, not us.
But they're not firing him, and like putting out this video states very clearly that he's not being fired. It's like he admits that he quit back at the beginning of March, and that since then he's been working as an independent contractor for Rebel, not as an employee.
Yeah, I still like, regardless, like they could be like, oh, he just misinterpreted what we said or whatever. Like, I just, to me, it seems like it could be like some kind of like a rebel covering their ass should something happen down the road.
I wonder too if part of it is him covering his own ass, and this like, so we had the one video where again the police showed up at his door, mad about the freedom of, well, he claims that they were mad about the freedom of information thing, but what it was he had sent out tweets saying that he was going to leak like classified government documents. But they weren't classified; they were given to him through a freedom of information request, so those were allowed to be released to the public. You know. So, but his tweet was very vague. So the police showed up the RCMP showed up at his door, and in that video, he had said that his partner wants him to quit. And I think this is almost like a more plausible story to me, is that he's feeling the heat, and like after going to January 6th and after going to the COVID hotel and all this, like he's now suing the Trudeau government too, or at least Rebel is, but like on his behalf for the COVID hotel thing. And my guess is it could be a just like his partner and him deciding that he's going to play it safe and stop doing these more riskier things. Because the project that he claims that he's going to be doing now is more of a podcast thing. Which, here's the thing too, is out of all the Rebel people, Keean is the most boring. He just does not have the charisma or the talent of all the other, well, of at least Ezra. Ezra at least has some charisma. I've said that before, so I'm not saying anything new here. Like, I can see he has like a radio personality. Like, it makes sense to me that there is at least some sort of like, I don't know, there's a timbre to his voice where I'm like, okay, I can see that being a radio friendlier voice. Keean is boring as hell. Just fucking boring. And so He wants to do like a personal chit chat podcast, a la like Dave Rubin and stuff like this, and I just don't know that he can
Ooh,
sell it. Yeah. Ooh.
he wants to discuss ideas.
And my guess is like that's less confrontational. So my guess is it's something that I think maybe if he was accurate in assessing what his partner was saying, and it wasn't just him trying to like prop up the sympathy, it could be that. Because like all the like legal liability stuff, I mean, like I don't know him leaving is going to help with that, because especially if he's already done all the shit while he was an employee of theirs. You know what I mean? So it's not like they could just dodge those legal responsibilities.
No, but they could possibly mitigate it by saying, yeah, we fired him and it was back. Like they could fudge the numbers in terms of the dates and stuff and say, he says it was early March, but it was more like January 7th or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think this gives them a form of plausible deniability in a sense, but
But
it could be exactly as he says.
but how they were able to do that in 2017 after Charlottesville was that Ezra fired Faith Goldie and then put out a video saying, "We fired Faith Goldie." In
Right.
this case, what happened is they've now given Keean their platform to put out a very like casually, "I'm leaving and starting my own project, and I'm still on friendly terms with Rebel."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like it's super likely that he's been fired and this is just them trying to cover their tracks or anything like that. I just see it as like this. I always kind of wondered like what, since the rebrand after Charlottesville, like if something like this were to happen again, like, and I thought that maybe Keean going to the January 6th thing would be like that, how they would handle it, because I figured even Ezra would be smart enough not to try and get involved in something like that again that could end him again or put a dent in them like it did when they were Rebel Media.
There was,
And like I thought
yeah.
this might be it, but I don't. It's probably exactly the way he's described it, but I also think that there's the slight possibility that this is their evolution to like, well, we're gonna put this, we're gonna. It's a contingency of sorts, but it's, I don't know.
There was also a sense in which I wondered if it had something to do with them being in good graces with the Conservative Party. So Keean has been very. I mean, this could be the other liability is maybe the Dominion shit.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Keean was the one who went to Toronto and the apartment buildings and all that stuff. So if there's liability, it's probably surrounding that rather than January 6th. But the other thing is Keean has also been very vocal about Jason Kenney and being upset with Jason Kenney in various ways. And Ezra has usually sort of like avoided that until like last week. Last week he was very, very critical of Jason Kenney. So even that, like, that was a thought of mine as well, but that seems to be like, if even Ezra is going to shit on Jason Kenney, it really doesn't matter. But anyways, let's get to the wonderful video here. Again, we'll skip their bumper.
I have returned.
Oh, we just started watching the video, so there we go. I don't know what we're watching, but
I usually start these videos by saying, hey there, I'm Keean Bexte. I'm here with Rebel News at the scene of whatever it is, sharing the other side of the story. Whether it's in Hong Kong, standing alongside the democracy protesters who fought so valiantly in that once free city.
Oh God, he went to Hong Kong. That was before my time. I'm starting to watch the show. But what was I going to say? On your theory, Ken, we should watch to see if he's being held hostage in this video. To what extent he looks like he's being held hostage.
How often are his eyes flicking off camera?
2 years ago now, before the pandemic, against Xi Jinping and the Communist Party of China.
Rebel News came to Hong Kong trying to uncover the other side of the story, to share with the world the side of the story that Beijing doesn't want the world to hear. We came to Hong Kong just a few days before a massive election was held, and it really was a historic election for Hong Kong.
Keean Bexte here at the White House in Washington, D.C. for
like
The Rebel.
Keean Bexte for Rebel News here in Madrid.
It's a sizzle reel.
Climate
Yeah, I was gonna
alarmist
say.
Central.
Keean Bexte here in Washington, D.C. Keean Bexte here with the Rebel Media just outside of
shirt he always
Tuskegee,
wears.
Alabama. Whether it's in Montreal, Washington, D.C., here in Calgary, wherever it is.
I'm so
I
inspired.
always try to
I will say, it feels like they threw this video together at the last fucking minute.
Yeah,
And
but
Yeah, no,
he's-
100%.
And he quit at the beginning of March. Like, some of the editing, like the beginning of the video, like they had this choppy footage of that fucking band playing, and now they have the volume of the music is fucking way over top of his like audio.
This green screen, whatever, that he's standing in front of here looks so bad also.
It's not even a green screen. It's just him.
Is
on
it
some,
not?
like walkway? No, it's not.
No, I think it's a green screen.
I'm almost positive it's not a green screen. Let's watch it for a few more seconds.
share the other side of the story. I always try to stand up for the little guy, to give them a voice against government oppression, tyranny, violence. Standing up for the little guy and giving them a voice is part of what we did at Rebel News. It's part of what
What was the point of like playing
Yeah.
a shot of like
giving them a
a
voice.
locked?
Stop Notley.
Oh,
Oh,
I
it's
see.
Nazi on it. Oh,
yeah,
my
it says
God.
Nazi. I just noticed that. It's just so like what? Nice.
Why did it?
fucking
Why did
hell.
it say Nazi on it? I have no clue what the context of this is.
I'm assuming it's the same house that has the Stop Notley stuff, and I don't know. Like it's
Okay,
it's-
yeah, no
you know?
Nazis, yeah. This again was before our time because that election was just right before I think we started
Yeah.
the podcast.
Is part of what we did at Rebel News. It's part of what made me so proud to work for that
Yeah,
company.
this person.
I started at Rebel News 3 years
I don't know
ago
who it
now,
is.
over 3 years ago, after I leaked documents that I obtained from the dairy cartel in Halifax. It was a really exciting time for me. I had never been in front of a camera, and if you go
Did you
check
say
out
the
my
dairy
very first
cartel?
videos,
Yeah, it has something to do with Alberta. I don't fucking understand it, but or was it Quebec?
The dairy cartel? What the fuck are you guys doing up there that you
Yeah.
need a dairy cartel?
Well, Elron, this is why our milk is in bags. That's all I'll say.
Don't even get me started on like the egg cartels and stuff too. Like
It was
Egg milk.
the conservatives like hated Andrew Scheer for this for some reason, and I never fully comprehend. Like, for one, I didn't want to dig into it. I really don't give a shit about the dairy cartel apparently, but apparently Andrew Scheer was beholden to some interests in the dairy cartel and was therefore doing things that the conservatives didn't like. And I think like after the election when Andrew Scheer lost, they like blamed it on his support with the dairy cartel or some shit.
Just saying, if you want, I have a really good cheese curds guy. Just let me know.
That's the dairy cartel. Some guy walks up to you with a trench coat. Hey, you want a curd? You want a curd or a stick? We got one of them peel and pull ones. We got Maybells over here. We got
Yeah, they're based in Montreal.
Baby
They're
bells?
poutine.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable.
you'll see they are pretty cringy, but I learned a lot.
Oh my god. What a baby. What a baby. He's so young. That must have been one of his first appearances. Look at those glasses. Oh my.
I learned a lot over the weeks, months, and years that passed. I fought a lot of battles, and we won a lot of battles. We won against Justin Trudeau time and time again after he tried so hard to keep us
You
out
still think this
of
is a
those
green
leadership
screen?
debates. We won in court, we won on the streets, we won wherever.
it's so obvious
we
the
went.
green screen. He
And
doesn't
guess
have a
what?
mic.
I'm s-
It's a like
No, he
generic
does. The mic
soundtrack
is
in the
here.
back.
The mic is right there, I see.
Yeah, but that's an indoor mic. I think that's still like, I think it's 100% fake. Look at the
I
like the
don't know.
angle compared to like where he is standing versus where the ground would be. I think it's fake.
It's very disorienting. It's very weird.
I don't
And,
think
like-
Keean Bexte is real, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think the
I think
camera
he's a
movements feel too like
Yes, the
fake
camera.
and contrived. Like they feel like a camera effect
Yeah, I
applied
think-
afterwards.
I agree. All of Keean Bexte is really just a computer illusion made up by Big Dairy to keep us from thinking about the bag milk.
He's beginning to believe he is the one.
That's why they had to get rid of him. He was gaining self-awareness.
The agent Smith his
We're
ass.
pulling a kill switch. Shoo.
The partner who supposedly asked him to leave Rebel News was actually someone trying to pull him back into the real world.
Yeah, he had to leave because now he knows kung fu.
No, it's the partner is like Derek from The Good Place. Like he created them within him. It's a deep reference. I was gonna say something. The only thing they always, whenever they mention a win, they always reference the fact that they got let into attend the leaders debate. That's like the one like lawsuit they've won. They were like, we won it. We got let into the leaders debate. We're winners.
We're so winning, and then they answered all our wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they never show the responses they got from those questions, but they at least won to get in there.
Wherever we went. And guess what? I'm still not tired of winning. I wanted to let you know something that has changed in my life. Just a month ago, I've decided that I'm going to go independent.
See, no, it's clearly real because they backed away from him, which would be the move to make.
I missed it. Go back.
Just a month ago, I've decided that I'm going to go independent. I'm going to start my own podcast where I'll be able to tell the other side of the story in a different way. To do with this asshole. In a way that's a little bit longer form.
See, no, I think that's still them avoiding whatever camera that was filming that thing originally to make the green screen effect. I think we should look up like bridge green screen thing after this.
I just love he's like, I'm gonna go make a podcast, and they just show a still of like podcast studio. Oh my god, Rebel. Why? Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on more of the footage.
And more talking with important people, exciting people, people who have information that we can use. We as Albertans, Canadians, and people to fight against the elites.
He's going to get information.
And tyrants wherever they may be.
His face also looks clearer than the background. Like it looks like it's grainier.
That's because you need a clear face to fight the elites and tyrants.
Yeah, true. Gray face, translucent, just totally, he's analogous to the actual bridge behind him. It's something.
I'm starting this podcast and it's called The Counter Signal. You might remember that name. That was my show with Rebel News, The Counter Signal with Keean Bexte. If you go to thecountersignal.com, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on there.
So this is a thing getting to what you were saying, Ken, which is like, if he was cutting ties with Rebel, like Ezra allowed him to take all of his like stuff that's probably under copyright with the Rebel to be like, you can take the name, you can go.
Yeah, it's true. It may be more of, if it is for any kind of legal reason, or if it's just like a happy coincidence, it might just be easier to sever ties. It's like they can say like, yeah, we gave him all this shit, but he was only ever a contractor for this period from this point forward. So yeah, we're cutting ties with this asshole, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'd encourage you to sign up. Now, normally I don't know exactly where you would have seen my...
So alert the audience in the chat is saying the audio doesn't sound like it's recorded outside on a bridge.
Thank you.
I agree with that. My feeling is they recorded it on the bridge and it was too windy, so they just dubbed over the audio. But
there's no way that Keean is that good at dubbing.
I don't think it is good dubbing though. Like I've been trying to watch his words. Let's see if it lines up.
No, it's really shitty dubbing. It's really fucking bad.
Now, normally I don't know exactly where you would have seen my content. It might have been YouTube. It might have been Twitter.
Yeah, it's a frame behind, a couple frames behind.
Yeah, there's something.
I mean, to be real, it's probably just a syncing issue. But like, yeah, I think again, that is what they want us to think. If Keean were in fact a computer hologram program thing.
Yeah.
I want this to be real so bad.
Keean.bxt has stopped working.
Through the emails that Rebel News sent out. I'm not going to have access to those channels anymore.
Oh no, wait. Listen very closely. I heard geese. Listen.
No, I genuinely think that they added fake background audio. Because there have been a few moments where you hear background noise of some sort, but it doesn't sound real still.
Emails that Rebel News sent out. I'm not going to have access to those channels anymore as I'm an independent broadcaster and reporter and journalist. So I need to stay in touch with you personally. If you enjoyed my work, if you saw value in it, there's more to come. I'm very excited to announce the next steps of this podcast with you. The first guest has already been booked, and we will be recording our very first
I love
podcast
that it's a secret.
on Thursday.
We booked a guest.
It's one of the most
you don't get to
exciting
know who it
people in
is.
Canada in this
It's an
political
exciting
time
person in
that
Canada.
we're living in. Someone who's
What's with the
standing up
camera
for
randomly
community,
dipping all over the
someone
place,
who's
too?
standing
Because
against
it's fake.
oppression.
Or they like they got somebody who's like I don't know, last minute just like, film this. And he's like, I don't want him. I didn't get any sleep last night. And he's like falling over while recording it. But like, how do
That's
you?
less realistic.
This gets to like weird in like. Do you think like Ezra told him he's not allowed to promote who his first guest is going to be? Because wouldn't you want to like draw an audience to your content by at least like setting up who the most exciting guest in Canada would be?
Well, I mean, if it's the guest that's probably been on Rebel a million times or is literally Ezra, then maybe it's not as much of a surprise or a draw. It's like, oh, okay.
How many episodes do you think it'll be before they get Ezra as a guest?
And maybe it's
episode 1. I'm thinking it's episode 1. That's why I didn't say.
I think it'll be episode 2. I think he'll have someone actually for episode 1. And it'll probably be like Chris Sky or something.
Yeah,
and then
Chris Sky is definitely going to be... Although Keean hasn't really interacted with Chris Sky yet. Chris Sky would be like the first guest on a David Menzies show.
Well, but Chris Sky is like Ontario and Keean's a
Alberta boy.
Prairie boy.
Yeah. Well, he does have to have somebody who's like energetic and personality infused somewhat to offset his own fucking white bread toast, like fucking like just absolutely boring, bland, non-person.
I did want to say, so alert the audience goes, maybe it's the playback over stream quality, but there's a vignette blur around his elbows.
Wherever he finds it. I'm going to be announcing exactly who that is. This very exciting guest, someone who many people asked me to speak with in person.
See, this
when I was with Rebel.
It's so fake. That camera movement is not real.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think, Vienna, that they actually asked someone who was passing them by on the bridge that's not real to film this.
No, because like I think it was added after. Like I think that it was shot in a wider frame. And then they realized that it looked bad because it probably like the green screen ran out at the top or something. And so in like After Effects, they zoomed in more and then did these weird movements to make it seem like they were out on the bridge.
Jody, this green screen is supposed to be Montreal. I should try and find this bridge in Montreal.
Please, let's look at bridges.
Yeah.
That's going to be after this video, please.
Pedestrian bridge in Montreal. No, look for it now. I was going to say, just in terms of the content, either he wasn't allowed to announce who the guest is, or it's just an attempt for him for, again, it's kind of like the same sign my petition bullshit. So he's like, you'll find out who the guest is when you email, or like you'll receive our email, so you have to sign up for a mailing list, is what he's doing. Which is like, Keean's like just continuing in the long tradition of the Rebel News grift by soliciting for emails.
Tell you what the problem with the country is, but you got to buy my book.
Yeah. Listen, and if you're going to host a debate with a white nationalist, don't buy their book. I'm just going to put it out there for anyone who wants to know what I think about that internet drama.
I'm going to announce who that is through that email list. So if you go to thecountersignal.com and sign up for that email list, you will be the first to know who this really exciting guest is. And on top of that, we will also email you the very first episode of The Countersignal with Keean Bexte. This podcast is...
No, see, it's David Menzies is filming it after a whole day in prison. This is the thing. See, he's going to cite all the podcasts that he's on, podcast apps, but I wouldn't search for his podcast. It's not up there yet.
Going to be free for you to listen to wherever you get your podcasts. We want this podcast to arm you with the information that you need to...
I also wonder if part of it is Keean realizing that if Rebel's not going to be able to make money off of YouTube, his only chance is like leaving and starting off his own, because like this is like Google's podcast app and stuff like this. So he's like, but yeah, I don't know. There's many reasons he could be leaving.
I think he probably did something January 6th that might come out later, but also he didn't insult Ezra. So he gets to stay on and make money from Rebel still, but he also is more easily cut offable.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I still think the Dominion thing is going to get him in a lot more trouble than January 6th. But then again, they didn't release any other footage from January 6th. So
join the fight against the elites.
Maybe that's what the Montreal police got when they raided his boat.
And against the oppressors like Justin Trudeau and Xi Jinping. Wherever we find oppression, wherever we find tyranny, we will expose it at the Counter Signal. We are not going to follow the narrative. We will rail against the Great Reset.
I don't know.
And we're going to have...
Yeah, I think the two people laughed listening to this moron.
I enjoyed my work at Rebel News.
That wasn't
for your support
added in post.
From
again,
the woman who lent me her basement.
Although this looks green screened as well, if we're being real.
No, this one looks real. Look at that outfit and look at where he is. There's no way he is not visiting some industrial center wearing that outfit. This one is planned. This one's real. That looks like Alberta in the background. Columbia. Like that's.
Does it?
Oh, he just said British Columbia. Never mind.
When I was trying to track down a terrorist for a week, to the thousands of people
track down a
who have sent in
for a
tips
week
over the last 3 years, I couldn't have.
Keean on the beat just tracking down terrorists in the wilderness. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think I read about that.
Gotten my stories out without those. For example, when someone leaked me from the military, a senior military official, leaked me documents that proved that the Canadian military was infected with
I forgot about
some
this.
sort of
Oh my
COVID.
God.
Well, that's what it hit. The story was when he said that his partner wanted him to quit the show. So the partner got what she wanted. He's leaving. Or they wanted. I still don't know what the identity of their partner is.
Like virus was brought back, put into quarantine, and then it was covered up by the defense minister. Stories like that you will not hear in the mainstream media, we will be exposing and continue to expose. If you go to thecountersignal.com, you can see more. Please sign up, and please, let's stay in touch.
I don't want to stay in touch. I'm glad you're gone.
Yeah, Keean, you're one of those friends that I'm just happy to let wander out of my life.
I do. He teased who his first guest is going to be, so I think I'm going to dip in just to get a taste of that, and then never again. Never again. Goodbye, Keean. Goodbye, Keean.
I will remember you.
I was thinking of doing that for the podcast, was getting like some choice cuts. I didn't have time to do it for this show, because this got announced just a few days ago. But yeah, for the show, doing
I'll sing it.
My own sizzle reel, but with some Sarah McLachlan.
Yeah, I'll sing it entirely in falsetto and make that episode entirely unlistenable.
Well, I thought of
new Patreon perk.
Yeah. I thought of doing like a parody version of like, we won't remember you.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.